We are something else.
Nobody would know, that's why this is something for the radio. Nobody would know, that's why this is something for the radio. Nobody would know, that's why. Nobody would know, that's why this is. Nobody would know, that's why this is something for the radio.
All right, we are something else. What's beef? All right. Welcome to We Are Something Else. Woo! Episode 16?
Ooh, Sweet 16?
Sweet 16 already.
Hey.
Seems like it was yesterday. CB, what's up, man?
Oh, man. It has been an entertaining last 10 minutes. Let me tell you that.
If we would have got pre-production on the show recorded, it would have been good. Whatever, though. Superfly, what's up?
Peace, what's good, fellas?
And chilling. We got a special guest in the house tonight.
Yes, we do.
My man Sachi is in the house.
What's up, fellas?
Glad you can come through.
Appreciate it.
Are you ready to talk rap beefs tonight?
Hey, man, I'm ready to talk whatever y'all want to talk about.
All right, let's see. All right, so how was your week, CV?
I mean, since we're recording this on a Tuesday, we just finished Memorial Day weekend. It was a great Memorial Day weekend for me and my family. So, I mean, things is good, man.
Gotcha. Okay. Superfly?
Yo. It was busy, but I got a good day of rest on Monday. Other than that, it was good. Cookout hopping and all that good stuff.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, same here. I forgot to take off work, so I had to go to the part-time job. While everybody else was at home chilling. I'm putting on khakis and a black T-shirt and going to work.
Baby needs diapers.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
get that grind on, man.
Mortgage, all that good stuff. So let's start with a quick headline before we really want to dig into tonight's topics. We got a lot on the plate.
Yeah.
Let's talk Roseanne real quick. Everybody's up to breast with what happened with Roseanne?
Yeah, somewhat.
So, as we all know, ABC rebooted Roseanne as a series.
And apparently, I didn't watch it, but apparently its first season was good enough for...
It was actually really good. I saw myself
From a
wanting to
rating
watch
standpoint.
it. I watched the first episode just to see what it was about, but I knew it was a pro-Trump show, and I knew I wasn't going to be interested in seeing any more outside of one episode. But I just wanted to see how it was going to be, because I knew Wanda Sykes was writing for it. I heard JB Smoove was going to jump on and write for it, so I knew she had a good pocket of writers.
Right.
So first episode was decent. I said, and it was their number one show this season for them to bring it back. But until somebody got happy with Twitter fingers.
Her racism was showing.
And Roseanne went on a racist rant. I don't know, was it last night or this morning?
Something like that, yeah.
But all in all, enough for ABC to cancel their number one show.
Yeah.
And just not care.
It was not
So,
good.
Make America
what
great again,
she
bro.
pretty much said was she was talking about Valerie Jarrett, she's the former aide to Obama. She said Valerie Jarrett was a Muslim and Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes if they had a baby.
Yeah.
Would be Valerie Jarrett.
And then her way that she
played it off as a joke.
The way that she even tried to explain it was like, I shouldn't have gone after someone for their beliefs and how they look. And it's like, oh my God.
Right, and then she said she was joking. Okay.
Okay.
Everything, there's a truth behind everything for the most part.
Yeah.
But what really happened was, so Wanda Sykes quit immediately after that went on. Wanda Sykes stepped down. And then a couple of people just went at ABC saying, what are you going to do about this? Because, you're going to stand behind this? Next thing you know,
Snip,
ABC
snip.
canceled the show. So, and then the president of ABC is a black woman, by the way. So,
Yeah, that was stupid. Just basically, hey man, can you run down real quick? Not only when you said Valerie Jarrett was an assistant to Obama, do you know what her credentials are? Like she is like
she's like top
super
notch,
high powered, man. Like CEO of the Habitat Company, a real estate and management company. She joined in 1995. A member of the board of the Chicago Stock Exchange, 2000 to 2007. Member of the board of trustees of the University of Chicago Medical Center from 1996 to 2009. I believe, and if she's on the board of that means she was probably responsible for hiring Michelle Obama to that position.
I'm
at
pretty sure.
University of Chicago Hospital, because I think the first lady ran that hospital before she became first lady.
Hey, her credentials are.
Super. Yeah. Nah, man. Like, come on now. To even just come out your mouth against somebody like that who's gotten to that level with that level of disrespect. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the thing. ABC knew who she was before they got back in bed with her.
Right.
You know, it was a money thing. It was a power play. I was hoping she would at least calm it down. But, True Colors showed. That neck showed up eventually, and there we go. So that's enough from Roseanne. I want to dive in deep. So last Friday we had 2 albums drop.
Yeah.
A$AP Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of that? What was the name of Rocky?
Testing.
Testing. That's what it was. Actually, pretty good album.
I gave it a second listen through on my drive home tonight because traffic in the DC area, as it always is during the week, was awful. And I believe, and I'm sure you have plenty to say on it, but I believe that this is an album that if you only listen to albums one time through and make your decision off of it, that this won't work for you. No. You need to be able to give Testing more than
at least
you got to give them a couple
listens
because you're not actually going to appreciate what Rocky's attempting to do there.
You check it out, Sachi?
Well, like he said, I only gave it one listen. I didn't get up, but I actually didn't get all the way through. I was in the car, and I think I had listened to the 7 songs on Push's album first, and then I went to the Rocky album. I got through like 5 songs, and I got out the car. But I can say on the first listen, I was like, oh, this don't really sound like the regular Rocky.
It kind of switched up a lot.
It's different,
really.
Yeah.
Oh, what's different about it? Because I haven't heard it yet.
It's a style. The beats are a little different.
Are they trappy or?
No. So he said this was his take on a trip hop album.
Okay.
So, which you would think kind of goes perfect
like
for what he does, but
Mad Lib kind of thing or what?
And it's got like an electric sound to it too.
Yeah.
Like it's he plays around with a couple filters.
Okay.
It's not a bad album.
No.
How many tracks were on there?
10 or 12, something like that. I think.
I like it when they keep it short. Man.
Right. Well, speaking of short, we got a 7-track, 20-minute album from Pusha.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how you can leave somebody wanting. The thing is, you will think after 7 tracks, you will want more. But I think he fulfilled everything in the 20-minute album.
Yeah.
Supposedly, he said on the Breakfast Club that Ye actually picked out the samples, hand produced everything.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
From
Is the
everything
beat
I was
so
hearing.
good? Okay, so I like track 1 and I can't even hate like on that joint.
Yeah.
Is his production so good that you're willing to overlook what's been happening with him?
So
I think that's a very personal. Like, there's no overarching answer to that question. Like, if you're, like, I know plenty of people that have told me that they're done with Kanye, and that is fair. That's 100% fine.
To me, and this is an indirect Kanye relationship. Like, you're getting Kanye's music, but it's Pusha all the way through. So I mean, this is a Pusha T product with Kanye's production. Kanye's always been a good producer. We never taken that away. When he shuts his mouth,
That's why
Kanye.
it bothers me so much, yo, because I love his music.
Right.
Up until probably but still.
Before somebody told him he could rap,
He's
he was
a
actually a
beast,
really
man.
good producer, right?
Exactly.
Before that, because his mouth, now he just talk. But
Yeah.
Shock Tactics as well. Kanye didn't pull the Shock Tactics out from one album. Apparently, 1:00 in the morning, the night that I'm about to drop, he switched to cover art.
Okay. Yeah, about the Whitney Houston.
Houston bathroom picture. He paid $85,000 from what's the
National Enquirer?
National Enquirer
What do you think about that?
Oh, that's where he got it from. National
Yeah.
High? Oh, okay.
And then Whitney's son or nephew
probably.
somebody came out like defending the use of the image because there were some people that were not happy.
That was
about
the
it.
nephew.
Yeah, there were some people that were not.
What's the
happy
meaning
about
behind it then?
It's her.
I don't know.
It's a drug.
It's Kanye.
Exactly.
I don't know. I saw the picture and they were like, he used her bath. Like, okay.
So,
But in
they
the
were
picture, it's
saying-
like drug needles
Yeah.
and lighters and dirty. Ugh.
And the whole, like, he was saying that they switched the name from King Push to Daytona because Daytona kind of represents more of what the album is about. And he's talked the entire time that it's supposed to be kind of like a luxurious, like, drug rap album. And
does
so,
Daytona refer to Daytona Beach? Or
I mean,
Daytona,
I looked it up, and honestly, Daytona, Florida is the only thing that came up. So I don't know if there's anything deeper to that because Whitney wasn't in Daytona,
Right.
you know, but that does go along with the luxurious drug like image because we all
That's
know
Daytona Beach in the 80s. Or kind of, is that what
My
they're
question
doing?
is, I didn't know. I mean, when I saw the picture, I had no idea it was Whitney Houston's bathroom until the story broke.
Right.
So had that not, well, I guess there was no way in the world that wasn't going to break because the man paid
Yeah,
85 grand for
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
It's a famous picture, I guess, to the people who were in on the circle.
Right.
But if you didn't know it was Whitney Houston's bathroom, to me it just looks like a pretty decent album cover. Like, okay, I get the reference because of drugs and like it's just a dirty bathroom, you know.
But then you realize it's Whitney's bathroom and just
That's what hurts because all her fan base, they say that opens up wounds that really haven't healed yet.
Exactly.
And how she died.
That's why I'm
and
kind
just-
of I'm really conflicted about this because if someone put a picture of Donda getting surgery on their album,
Right, how would he feel?
Right.
But
Exactly.
the man is putting the doctor on his front as his album cover.
yeah, but
I mean, that's again, I wouldn't want the guy who killed my mom.
But wasn't this bathroom picture? If he bought it from the National Enquirer, it was already out before though.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It was
yeah.
already in the magazine,
Right.
or whatever that is.
Well, at least they had the rights
I
of
ain't
it.
never seen the National Enquirer in my life, but
Right.
you know.
right.
right.
They at least had it to the point where maybe somebody gave them hush money not to use it.
But at the same time, if whoever put it out that it was Whitney's bathroom, like you said,
Yeah.
we wouldn't even. When I look at the picture, I just see a dirty bathroom.
Right.
Right. Yeah, right.
Until they said, "Oh, Whitney's parents or somebody is mad," I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay."
To a
I
certain
wouldn't have
point,
known.
yeah. How the hell did Kanye knew this picture existed? So somebody got in this. I mean,
Yeah, somebody wanted some bread. Kanye said, "Okay," whoop, broke them off,
There you
and
go.
then they
Yes.
put it out, for public knowledge and consumption.
Right.
because now, 6 years later after her death is the first time I've seen this picture.
Right? I never heard of.
Yeah, wow.
It's wild though.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let's dive into tonight's topic because we can talk Kanye and dirty bathrooms and all that all day. So tonight we're gonna talk about rap beefs, the classics, the purest state of hip hop is the beef.
Competition.
I mean, you got breakdancing is a form of hip hop like beef. I mean, you got two crews coming together and they settle it out on the dance floor.
Yep.
Whoever had the livest, the best moves, and whoever had the dude who can bend and twirl the best.
Best crowd
and
reaction.
Best crowd. That's how you won. Then it transformed to microphone and lyricism and who's the best lyricist out of two or three people.
Right.
So I want to start with an old school one since we're gonna dive in.
Okay.
The first beef that I kind of remember coming up, Kool Moe Dee, MC Shan, and LL Cool J.
Okay.
You
Now-
don't remember that.
I don't
beef.
remember MC Shan being a part of this though.
Well, because he dove in on a piece of a song,
Okay.
like
I know Shan and KRS.
right.
which
Well,
is
that was the
Red
Bridge
J.
is Over, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we'll start with the.
But for those who don't know, LL Cool J is not just the host of what's that, Lip Sync Battle.
Right.
He was actually
He
an
wears
MC.
cap hats all the
Yeah,
time.
Yo,
he
we
was
were-
or NCIS or whatever LA.
Yeah.
He's actually a MC. He was actually pretty dope back in the day. Was he the first rapper signed to Def Jam?
Yes, sir. Along with the Junkyard Band.
Maybe. Oh, GYB. That's right. Sardines and the word.
the Beastie Boys.
So, LL. I guess him and Kool Moe Dee it originated with Kool Moe Dee. I guess not taking something about Kool Moe Dee. LL rubbed Kool Moe Dee the wrong way. So Kool Moe Dee writes "How You Like Me Now," which was one of his bigger hits. Kool Moe Dee claimed that LL. That's what it is. Kool Moe Dee claimed LL bit his style.
You took my style, I'm taking it back.
Exactly.
Coming back like Return of the Jedi.
And that's where Sham comes in, because Sham says LL did the same thing. He stole his style. But at this point, aren't they all New York rappers?
Well, Shan and LL are both from Queens, but you know, Shan started the Kango,
That's right.
all that kind of stuff.
So he's talking about style, fashion wise,
And rhymes, both.
Kind of. How do you still Kool Moe Dee
it's
and
both.
MC Sham couldn't be further apart?
Well, no. He's saying, well, the beef with LL and Kool Moe Dee was about if you listen to rap before like LL,
right.
It was you had Run DMC who was Curtis Blow and them that rap like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people give the turning of the MC style to Rakim, but really before that, it was Moe Dee. So Moe Dee was rapping, you know.
And I will say, Moe Dee doesn't get a lot of respect that he should. Just because I think, maybe
part of that might be because he came out of a crew. Like he was part of the Treacherous 3.
Treacherous 3, right?
Yeah, but Moe Dee was kind of still an underground rapper.
Right.
See, when L came out and got big, Kool Moe Dee was still considered an underground rapper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what he was mad about. Like, oh, you on and popping, but it's really me.
Right.
That should have been the one out
Right.
popping.
And for those who don't know, LL got his deal by standing on top of a table with his beatbox and rapping.
Just like in what was the movie?
Crush Groove. So Shan writes
16.
Beat Biter.
15.
That's what they say, but you know, it could have been 20.
right.
Hip hop age, we really don't know.
Right.
So Shan writes Beat Biter. Then Moe Dee responds with Bigger and Better. Bigger, Better, and Deffer. That's what it was. Bigger and Better. And LL writes, which is a shot at LL's album, Bigger and Deffer.
Right.
So yet, at this point, LL has yet to respond. And LL's first response was Jack the Ripper.
Right.
Which, to me, was completely different from anything he had put out at that point. And when you hear like Jack the Ripper, you're like, wow.
Yeah. I can give him that. I mean, I think he was rapping aggressive on Bigger and Deffer.
Well, yeah.
With I'm Bad, with there's a couple songs on there that I'm blanking. No,
supposedly, Jingling Baby is about Kool Moe Dee as well.
Really?
That's they say takes a shot at him in there.
I always thought Mama Said Knock You Out would be.
Well, that's what we get to. So then Kool Moe Dee writes Let's Go and Death Blow. Supposedly Death Blow's a big I never heard
songs that no one remembers.
Yeah, I never even heard Death Blow, but apparently
Hey, those like I said, those are more underground, like underground New York
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
You weren't in New York, you didn't hear everything because hip hop wasn't that mainstream.
Right.
for me,
exactly.
like the only thing you really heard was Wild Wild West and
that was after everything.
and what's the other joint about? Like
How You Like Me Now.
How You Like Me Now? But there's another one. I
Go to Work.
I Go to Work. That's what I was thinking about.
Work.
Exactly.
And then LL Mama Say Knock You Out. So the only reason I brought that up, it was like one of the earlier beefs, but then the biggest hit out of that was Mama Said Knock You Out, which after that
It's a classic. Like,
there was no, I don't think there was anything else left to be said.
Right. Hey, Marley Marl, man.
There you go.
But see, that's a long beef though, because Mama Said Knock You Out was what,
Like
90s, 91, yeah. So
and the first beef records by them was like 87,
Right.
yeah.
88,
Right.
So
I guess they were actually, because back then did you really have mixtapes or drop exclusives like on radios where like, oh, here's the brand new track, the LL response this.
Unless you was going to like Stretch and Bobito or something.
That wasn't
That didn't even
around
come
yet.
out until
Right,
like
right, yeah, that
91
was
itself. So,
And they was too big to be on
Yes.
Stretch and Bob.
So you had to wait for albums to be done to hear the response.
right.
Nowadays we got summer blockbusters.
Yeah, and nowadays, the exclusive comes not just like that.
That's funny because somebody on Twitter made a comment like, if Pusha doesn't respond in 48 hours, he's done.
Oh,
so
right.
I responded. I was like, when did this imaginary 48 hours?
When did that kid? When did that ever?
Yeah.
Do your history. I was like, I don't need to do my history.
My thing is, for anybody who's ever rushed a song, that's exactly how it sounds.
They're
rushed.
probably not an artist. They probably don't make music because that's just not how that thing works.
I think, well, you know, everybody on the internet has an opinion. And
Right.
Of course, yeah.
So then you got certain people like DJ academics and them that come on there and they influence people 48 hours or
Exactly.
over, and then you know all the goofy people start repeating it. So
It doesn't matter if when
it
it comes out, it rocks.
It's fire.
right.
Because within 10 minutes of us starting recording this podcast, Pusha did drop a response.
Right.
And from our one listen through that we've got, golly, he
Yeah.
got that thing
Good
off.
grief. And he even used the OJ beat, the story OJ beat. So you could tell. I don't even know if I wouldn't even use the word rushed. It was thought out. He probably knew what his response was going to be because he knew Drake was going to have a response.
Right.
Do you want to dive in that one now? Just go ahead since we're there. Since we're already here, let's-
I mean,
I didn't mean to get you there.
No, we're there. No. We're not
Let's go back though, but let's talk about this real quick.
All right, let's go. So,
did he get goated? Honestly, do you think Pusha set him up to bring this out?
I think so. I mean, because they've been going at it for a minute, and this Pusha hadn't
perfect
responded
timing.
since Drake wrote a joint on what was that? What was the last album? More Life, whatever it was.
More life.
And
There was views before.
View, yeah. And Pusha didn't even respond. And so, I mean, obviously, this is the first album Pusha's had since that has come out.
Right.
And so
That's why I think a lot of people didn't even realize that he was saying infrared was a response, not like a re-sparking of the beef. Because
Right.
a lot of people, myself included, forgot that this had even been going on because we had had a couple years before there was actually even a back and forth between the two.
Do you remember how that beef even started?
So what was the record that he was? I mean, I know they've been beefing for a long time.
Right,
but
right.
What was the record that he was responding to?
Let me look at my notes.
Yeah, because I actually thought I had it.
I thought that was it. Don't F with me. No, I was pushing this. Don't.
I know they said something about two birds, one stone.
That's what it
Yeah,
was.
that's what
Two
it is.
Birds,
That's
One
what it
Stone
is.
was.
That's what it is. That's
Okay.
what it
But
is.
what album was that on?
View. Was
View.
that
I think
Views or
that's
the-
Views.
No, More Life with the one with his dad on the front cover.
Yeah, it's one.
So
of
that's
those
the
two.
one.
Yeah.
The album,
That's the most recent album.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that was Drake's last album, and he
okay.
he took the last shot at Pusha, and since this is Pusha's,
Well, I don't really listen to Drake like that, so
Exactly.
I don't think I even heard that record. I mean, I did hear that album, so I
Yeah.
probably heard it. Just
It's on there.
didn't.
It's
So-
like a
didn't
Drake
resonate.
album, man. You listen and it's just like it's almost like elevator music. Aside from the singles,
Right.
it's never like
So-
a song that I'm like, oh.
I will say
That's what I tell people. I know the singles, but if you're talking to me like, does Drake have a classic album? No.
we were talking about that
We
earlier.
literally
today.
had
Yeah,
that
we were talking about that
conversation
today.
like 6 hours ago.
Okay.
It's real, like, because it's like something to think about because this guy has all these Billboard records
Right.
for all these top 10 hits
Right.
and all this stuff, and you
So
think
what-
about it, and it's like, does he really though have what people would consider to be a classic album?
What category do you put him
This
in?
album too long.
Is he a rapper? Is he an
Because I
entertainer?
don't
Is he
think you
R&B?
can put him down.
See, that's the thing. Is he a rapper anymore? Because everything he puts out, all those Billboard hits are singing songs.
But
Right.
in Headlines, they consider that a rap song? Is that what he won he won the award for the Grammy for? Was Headlines, and that was
What song is
supposed
that?
That's
The-
I'm
used to call me on my. Oh, no, which one?
Headlines is
Hotline Bling. I'm sorry, Hotline
Oh,
Bling.
that.
Hotline Bling.
No, that's not no rap song.
But
That's
then they
a singing.
consider it.
It's they probably consider it hip hop though,
hip hop. Yeah.
because the hip hop
They-
and R&B is basically the same
Right.
thing at this
Right.
point.
At this, yeah.
I mean, and even what he said to Meek, he's like, "You got bodied by a singing dude," so it's like,
And I will say, there's two sides of Drake.
yeah.
When Wheelchair Jimmy first came out, and he was dropping like best I ever had. Like he was giving you like some serious rap flow.
Nah, that best I ever had wasn't serious.
Well, I
rap.
mean, no,
That
he
was like I Need
he
Love.
wasn't as singing as much. He wasn't singing as much. Like, he wasn't giving you that
He was
harmonizing.
rapping. He
Yeah,
was rapping, but it
was
was soft rap.
right.
Like he was never like.
I mean, well, because no one would believe him if he came, because
Exactly,
we know
yeah.
where he came from.
Exactly.
Like, not every rapper and hip hop artist can claim to be from the streets because not all of them were there.
Yeah,
But
this-
see, he definitely glommed onto Cash Money and the sound of Houston
Right.
and New Orleans in order to get legitimacy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he wouldn't if he didn't have those songs with Lil Wayne.
Man, he wasn't getting no
we
clout
wasn't-
from being
exactly.
from Canada. He
No.
had to come.
But do they value Drake's rapping songs at this point? Because I know like I guess it was the last little EP he put out. It had 2 songs on it. One of them was the one that's on the radio. They play all the time now.
God, what's that? The God.
God's Plan?
God's playing.
Yeah.
God's Plan, and the other song was a rap song.
Right.
I like the rap song.
But God's playing.
Then I
got all
looked at the charts. When they first came out on like the Spotify charts, they were both in like the top 10, and then like 2 days later, it was just God's Plan, and the rap joint was nowhere to be found.
Right.
So I was like, do people even like his rap songs, or
Right.
is he an R&B singer?
And he's probably
person?
so, no pun intended, he's probably so far gone from being because every night, and he's not consistent with what he's gonna do, because after he dropped Duppy,
Right.
he put out like a preview single for the album,
Trash.
Yeah.
which is trash, complete trash. But so the beef actually started with Pusha going after Birdman years and years ago about not paying his artists.
Drake wasn't even on Cash
Right.
Money back then.
So it was like one of those guilty by association things. Like he felt a certain way that Pusha kept taking jabs at him, then at Wayne, and then so he decided he's gonna get involved, and hence we have
Exactly. He might end up losing his career. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, Pusha is not.
Pusha's not gonna back down.
No,
Pusha's
I
not Meek
think
Mill,
that
and he's fucking. He's a beast.
He's a beast.
So
Lyrically.
like
Here's the
lyrically,
Y'all think
Pusha's
so?
sick.
Pusha T?
Here's the question:
I think he's a beast lyrically.
who's better, No Malice or Pusha?
And what?
As far who was the better lyricist on the clips?
See, I mean, I think Malice was, or No Malice was more. No Malice is like Scarface. You know what I'm saying? Like his music has a depth to it that most artists don't touch or even like pay attention to. Whereas Pusha, I think, gives you a more. I think he's a better wordsmith, and he's giving you more candy. You know what I mean? Whereas like Miles is giving you vegetables, and you know what I'm saying?
He's giving you.
I like that way to explain it, because that's real.
Yeah.
Because I agree with that.
Oh, what were you? My bad. I cut you off. What were you saying?
Now I can't even
About
remember.
Drake?
Okay, so Drake at this point, like when he dropped the Duppy freestyle, my whole thing was Drake doesn't even need to go hard anymore because he's a pop star. Like it doesn't matter whether his albums are, you know, the sickest hip hop album to come out in the last 10 years or whatever, because he's just, people are gonna buy it. Like
But I feel like
people
he was
are gonna play
always a
it.
pop star. Like he never had
And
a
no, but
hard record.
and that's the thing is like that's what he is. That's exactly what he is. So
Yeah.
there are going to be people that won't be able to differentiate themselves from just being Team Drake and will just claim that whatever he does, because he will give you a couple sound bites, you know, per song, and they'll latch on to it.
That's a good way to put it.
But Drake is a pop star, but he's a smart
Yeah.
pop
Oh, yeah,
star.
yeah.
That he strategically, his team, they strategically do certain things. That's why he
Right.
does an album with
Future.
or he goes out on tour with, who's he going out on tour with right now? What's their names? Migos.
Migos,
Right,
that's
right.
right.
Or he always hops on the hottest little underground street song,
Right.
and then that song gets on the radio, and then he gets the clout for it,
Right.
and the other person disappears after the song.
It's kind of like the J blueprint.
exactly
No pun intended. Right.
jack somebody's stuff.
Right.
And it's funny because
Yeah.
people are really mad. Like some people are really mad about that. People that are anti-Drake
Right.
really
He,
don't
he
like
rides
that,
people's waves.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Waves. There we go.
but yeah, like my whole thing is that he is just so successful commercially that it will be, even if he was to be declared the loser against Pusha T, that it wouldn't affect his career enough for like it to really even matter to him. Like this at this point, like this is just fun. Like he just gets to have fun with this because
Do you think he'll know when to stop?
I mean, not when the dude just said that you have a kid that you've been hiding from the world, that your
porn star.
producer is like looking like he's about to die.
'Cause he's got MS.
Yeah,
I think it would only matter. The only way that it would actually hinder his career is if it was somebody that was actually current right now that he was going against.
Right.
Like if it was Kendrick or one of those cats that, like, if he had a loss to Meek, maybe it would have hurt him, because Meek is currently, well, at the time was currently on the radio,
Right.
hot and stuff like that. Or even if it was one of the younger dudes that was trying to come up,
Right.
like a SoundCloud type dude
Right.
that he jumped out with and they killed him. But somebody like Pusha, who's like 43 years old,
right.
those youngins don't care about
He
him.
was new
You know?
when I was in high school, so
Right. He came out in like 98.
Damn.
Do you think the Drake Meek battle hurt Meek?
No. Honestly, I don't think in today's world that beef really hurts people.
Right.
I think
That's true.
it's free promo.
No, I think it's perfectly timed with everything that's going on right now.
It's free promo.
And you know, when Drake made the joke about sending an invoice to Kanye for an extra 20, like, but honestly, if people, you know, had not caught on,
Right.
you know, they're, you know, Pusha got more listens because of that.
Give me those
Like,
free
it's calculated.
streams. Give me those
Yeah.
extra streams.
It's
That's all it is.
calculated.
That's
And
all- that's
I
all it
argue
is.
there really hasn't been a beef that hurt the rapper ever since like LL Cannabis.
I was gonna
No, Ja Rule.
I was say
Yeah.
John 50.
That was the
True
one.
that.
So that's a good segue. Let's
All
go
right, yeah,
John
go.
50
All right.
because LL Canvas is on the list too. That was
Yeah.
a good one. John 50. Wow, that went on for some years too.
Yeah.
So that, let's see. Oh, that's right. My note says it always seemed like there was bad blood between them two, and for some reason I don't know why, but Josh said he was robbed by some of 50's goons,
Right.
and that's kind of what
Some New York shit, man.
hinted it off. And then 50 responded with a song called "Life's on the Line," which I never heard. Followed by a fight in the club between, I guess, their camps in Atlanta. And then apparently 50 got stabbed by John Blackchild. Remember
Right.
Black Child?
Yeah.
That was way after.
That was after the
Yeah, that was way after. A lot of their beef stemmed off of 50.
just clowning him.
Well, no, 50 and them were jealous that Ja was hanging with the street dudes.
That's
and
okay.
he was the sing. He was a rapper
Right.
portraying to be street, even though he wasn't really street.
Right.
And kind of
He
like
literally
Kool Moe
bit
Dee and them
Tupac's
thing. Like
entire
he was, 50 of them like, well, you not even gangster, but you out here popping like you gangster because you hiding behind Supreme and them Queens type
okay,
dudes.
that's-
So that's how it got started. And then 50 had some beef with the Supreme and them in the Queen streets anyway. So he started rapping. He started going at Ja.
Did he take a shot at him in How to Rob? Was that his first?
He took a shot at
Everybody
everybody.
in How to
Like
Rob.
that's why 50 still beefing with everybody now, because that's how he got in the door.
Yeah.
Right, that
No,
was-
that's real.
When all else fails, his default is to beef with somebody.
Right.
That that's
And
his
then
thing.
Wankster.
Yeah,
one of
so
my
he
favorite
just
beats of all
kept
time.
going at Ja.
That is one of my favorite beats of all
Wankster
time.
was pretty. Was I think that was like the first big commercial.
What
song
was the
that kinda-
song though that put Ja to bed? I don't remember there.
It was
Being
basically the
like a
whole
record
album.
man.
It
I
was
think
the- it was the
yeah,
whole
because he just
album.
kept taking stabs at him. He did.
It was Back Down.
Oh,
and
the issue. Remember, Ja started comparing himself to Pac too, which pissed Busta, Dr. Dre.
He dressed exactly like
Yeah.
Pac. He got
I mean, his
the
style was
headband
very,
and all that
very
stuff. Like
similar.
So
he
his
looked the exact same.
sidebar, and when you beefing, are kids off limits?
I mean, it's up to you. That's
Yeah.
what you want to is what you
Exactly.
want to live up to. If you say something about my kid and you think that he ain't gonna do nothing,
Right.
That's on you. You don't know what I might do.
Right.
Jay says skeeted in the Jeep, left condoms in the
The
baby seat.
oh.
Like,
We'll get to that one too. But so Ja when he's going on his Tupac rant, he started doing those freestyles with Tupac beats, and then he took the shot at M. He said, "M, you said Kim's a known slut, and your mom." He said, "No." Said your mom's a crackhead and Kim's a known slut. So what's Haley gonna be when she grows up? And so that's when they respond. Remember they did the Hail Mary, Eminem, 50, Busta Rhymes. I think that's kind of what put him to bed.
But that's what I was getting ready to say. What they like quadruple team. Nobody had Jaws back, and once 50 and them was on
because everyone had a point.
Not Death Row. What's the name of that? Aftermath. Aftermath and all that. They had the whole Eminem and them's crew, and then Buster came over there, so everybody was just going at Ja, and nobody stood beside him until
people was getting locked up too. Murder Inc. was like falling apart
until Fat Joe and them. What was the song that Fat Joe and Jadakiss had?
Oh yeah,
that's the New York song.
Yeah.
New York, and then 50 got mad at them and wanted to beef with them, and then that started more.
That was his own beef,
right?
Yeah, with 50 and Fat Joe.
Fat Joe, yeah.
I remember on this part of the battle always makes me laugh. So in Ja Rule's Loose Change, when he was talking about 50 and them, he spells murder wrong in the damn song. He goes Muredr Inc. And no one ever caught it. And I'm like, did this dude just spell murder wrong in his damn song?
That's just how he pronounces it.
right?
Yeah, okay. But and then Ja tried to do the clap back.
Yeah,
Remember that?
That was all right. The beat was all right on that joint.
At that point, I think it was over.
That
at
was
point.
done by a local producer. Clapback.
Who did clap back?
Chink Santana.
Oh, for real?
Really?
Wow.
Junkyard
I
Old
didn't know
Drummer.
that.
Dre
Wow,
Dog.
yeah.
Sick.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that. All right.
And
Shout out to
Clapback,
Chink.
even though Clapback, people don't remember Clapback did spawn the term clapback when it comes to
Yeah.
It did.
to
It did.
rapping and beefing or even going at somebody on Twitter or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
got a little, he got something off of that.
Yeah, good point.
I'm glad you brought that up because now a lot of beefs don't go on wax a lot of times. Now it's just Twitter fingers and a lot of words back and forth. And then
FaceTime beef.
yeah.
Like, I don't even know how that's a beef.
Exactly.
How you beefing with somebody and then we FaceTime and on the internet for everybody?
Exactly.
Using your
How
own
you got
data.
my number?
Exactly.
We beefing. How you calling me? Come on.
I mean, that's funny though because like recently J. Cole sat down
J. Cole and
with
Kanye?
with Lil Pump,
although that one.
and Lil Pump had originally called him, and Cole wasn't sure whether to pick up or not
'Cause he wanted to
because
control,
he wasn't sure whether the kid was just gonna like screenshot it and
Right.
like post it or whatever.
Right.
And it's a different world that we live in
Exactly.
nowadays.
So that was really a diss track, but it's not going to spawn any beef because these young rappers aren't lyricists anymore. They
No,
just
no. That's why I
just
know. That's
smokers
why
and drinkers.
Right.
Yeah, that's why Drake wouldn't be scared of any of these
Right.
SoundCloud rappers.
So what do you
coming
think
up to
about
him,
1985?
or any of those other guys?
Did you listen to Cole's 1985?
Mm-hmm.
What do you
What I
think?
think about it?
Yeah.
Let me think. See, he's talking about those little dudes that I don't really care about.
Right.
So I mean, I know everything that he's talking about, but like the interview that he just mentioned with Little Pump, I cut it on. I was cleaning up in the house
That's
a
the
little
most
bit.
annoying
and
interview
I
ever.
watched it and I was like, damn, I was like, I can't even hate on that dude. He's actually a little boy. I mean, he looked like he had on some pajamas and he had braces.
shirt.
And he'd be quick to tell you those pajamas were $25,000
Random
too.
underwear.
Yeah, kitty
but,
cat shirt.
But he looked like the little kid that was excited that his parents are running around so he can curse and stuff. And I was like, this is really a little boy. Like
Yeah.
he
Right.
needs somebody to help him out in the game.
Cole asked him, "How long you been rapping?" He was like,
2 years.
2 years.
Like
He said,
what?
"What? 2 years?"
I don't. Do you consider that rapping? I say consider. How long have you been making little songs?
Right,
That's what I
2
ask.
years.
I don't know
Oh,
about
my
rapping.
God.
I don't know. It's just crazy, like how these kids are just popping up out of nowhere with
Man.
way more money than I've ever seen in my life, and I'm like, damn, dog, what did I do wrong
That's
out
what
here?
Push is talking about in the Breakfast Club interview. How he idolizes the hustle nowadays because you come out of nowhere without it and not even have a deal.
Yeah.
And put some decent, fire out there, and it's gonna catch on social media. Next thing you
Exactly.
know, these guys out here touring, promoting their own tours, not even without record labels or
Right.
promoters, and making their own money.
Yeah.
And that's what he was saying, that Wayne, who's what, 100+ million in,
Yeah.
or 500+ million, whatever, should have it in the bank. He still got to do club promos, making like 25 grand a night because he can't get paid because his money's all tied up with Birdman.
I don't really understand that, Bird. I mean, I know music contracts are goofy or whatever, but
But that's all Birdman has left.
Really
that's why
taking
that's
advantage.
if he's got a Wayne, well, first of all, Wayne made a goofy decision in the first place. Because I remember when his contract was up with Birdman, I heard him right on the radio on Hot 97. He said, I'm about to sign with Jay-Z.
Rockefeller, yep.
Then in like 2 days later, I'll re-up with Birdman, Cash Money for Life, blah, blah, blah. So not only was your first contract stupid and you knew it was stupid, you decided to go back. Now, either they was like, well, we'll give you $50 million, and he ain't look at the contract, and that $50 million was all types of ways manipulated or something like that. But
I'm just trying to
got a
figure
car
out.
to deal too, right?
Probably.
Game of Rock, well, whatever, Cash Money chain.
I'm just confused because like Birdman doesn't come off as the smartest dude, right? So who is his lawyer that's drawing these contracts up, or is he just making stuff like
Probably his brother. His brother.
But see, that's my
think it's
thing.
just a
What's in
contract.
these contracts that these people, the Birdman, can just not pay you?
I think it's
Something
less the
fishy.
contracts. I think it's because they come from the same area. He probably got things hanging over his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Family
It's
members.
more than that, yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? It's probably deeper than just
But
contracts.
it's not just Wayne though. It's
right?
multiple people
and
that
it's
Birdman
been
ain't
for
paying.
decades.
Right.
Like there's a reason
And-
why Cash Money doesn't have any artists anymore.
Is Drake locked up in that too?
Because
'Cause he's part of Young Money?
That's what they say.
They were talking. The reason why he dropped.
If you're reading this,
If you're reading this is too late, was to fulfill the he owed Cash Money like another full length. So then that would open him up from his contract. But who knows how that actually gets sorted out? I don't know.
Crazy.
But
Yeah, I mean-
you know, there have been pictures within the last 2-3 weeks of Wayne and Birdman hanging out. So
actually, Birdman and Manny Fresh got a single out now.
Manny's
That joint's
back?
actually like, yeah, that shit is actually kind of.
We were talking about that earlier. How
Yeah.
Cash Money lost. They lost their top producer.
Yep.
They lost their artist. I
Yep.
mean, and they're not really putting out any.
Juvenile
brought-
was
yeah, they
arguably
brought
the
back
hottest
the,
person on that entire
House.
album or on that entire label at the time.
Yeah.
So for him to get up and go, Manny to get up and go, like
What's the group of Manny Fresh and
Big Timers?
Big Timers? Yeah, they brought big Timers.
Boots.
I like
Pimped
Manny.
out
I ain't.
Gucci.
I love
whatever.
Manny Fresh, man.
Whatever,
Niggas are
man.
different.
Birdman, whatever. So real quick, we were having a discussion. This is gonna be another show.
Yeah.
Would you put Wayne in your top 5 lyricists or rappers? Top 5 rappers. You won't even say lyricists. Top 5 rappers.
For me, that's an automatic no. But I just want to hear like, what are we basing this top 5 on?
Listen,
Right,
that's what we
right,
have to
right,
figure
right.
out. Album sales, are we going to base it off of that? Or are we going to base it off of lyrics? Or are we going to base it off of...
Are you basing it
Impact.
off of like overall impact throughout the years or something like that?
We have to narrow down, figure this out. But we were having a discussion earlier about this. And now, and one of my coworkers was like dumbfounded. I wouldn't put Wayne in my top 5. I was like, dude, I can name, even if we left Biggie and Pac off of the list. I'm
I
still...
put almost everybody in
in
that
this picture right here.
over him.
I'm like, I'll leave Biggie and Pac off because originally I said Rakim. He said, well, Rakim is old. I was like, well, okay, we'll leave.
I don't
We leave
understand
the
this.
founding fathers off. You still got Eminem that's on the list. I said Kendrick was better than Wayne,
Yes.
better than Wayne, and he looked at me like I shot his mother. He looked at me like, what?
Because
Like,
I know where he's coming from.
But
like
if you go off, like,
there's a
impact,
difference.
though.
Because Wayne's had a major
Impact Wayne could be top
Like
10.
like if you go from like 2000 till now, if we start at 2000 till now, I could see somebody saying Lil Wayne because
Yeah.
there was a time before Drake, before it was
Oh,
Drake's
yeah.
run,
Everywhere.
it was Lil Wayne.
There, he went a couple years while we were waiting for the Carter 3. He did not have any songs of his own, and all he was doing features and turning all of those features into the biggest bangers that you could listen to. And like, how many artists could say that they were able to actually build their career up to its peak when they weren't even releasing their own stuff out? Like that was what was crazy, is people were so hyped for the Carter 3 to drop because they had been waiting for so long, because all the work that he had been doing on everybody else's stuff had been ridiculous.
And that's when I told a boy at work, I said, I agree. Wayne definitely has made moves. He's sold
Yeah.
albums. My personal preference, I would not put it in my top 5. There's just too many other. Because I'm gonna probably go off. If I'm gonna do top 5, I'm going off of lyrics or lyricism, because that's what hip hop to me. That's what it's about.
Right.
Impacting,
Top
lyrics.
5 lyricism though.
Yeah. All right. So that's a whole nother show. We can
I'm
have.
also a no for that
I
one.
would I'd love to be a part of that show, please.
Yeah. Okay. We got you. Let's do LL Cannabis. Remember that one? You remember how that one started?
Yeah, that's the
Off the verse.
Give me that mic back. That's because you want that mic on my arm.
Yeah.
But see, that's because LL be rewriting his verses.
So that was
5,
like
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Cannabis in the original verse on 4321 says, "Yo, L, that mic on your arm, let me borrow that."
Right.
So he meant it. The story is he meant it as a sign of respect. He wanted, he looked up to LL and he wanted to get the mic on his arm like LL because he looked up to him. LL didn't see it that
King
way.
Petty. Right.
King Petty. LL writes his verse, and I have the verse somewhere in here, but LL writes his verse pretty much going at Cannabis, talking about you don't want to borrow, you want to idolize something, you don't want to socialize. This tattoo on my arm is a symbol of. I got it. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here it is right here. Let's see. So LL's verse. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm just gonna do.
And I was
cliff
telling
notes.
Phil earlier, I had, because of like the 4-year age difference that we got, my entire perception of LL Cool J is like very like Disney Channel. Like it's not the rapper, because he was done by the time I was like actually.
You may have gotten like doing it and lounging, but at that point he had already done.
He was making singles for the ladies. And
like it was not.
LL used to be the man.
Yeah. Like I was saying, all I was used to, all I knew about from LL was that he never wore a shirt, licked his lips a lot. Like it was
Kango,
it was,
Kango and
the
sweats.
Kango hat and all that.
You grew up in the 80s. You wanted to dress like L.
Exactly.
You probably knew Fubu LL.
Yeah.
So LL's verse was, the symbol on my arm is off limits to challenges. You want to hold rusty swords, I swing the Excalibur. So he was going at Cannabis pretty much for talking about the tat. And so they got together. Apparently he told Cannabis, look, change your verse. I'll change mine. We'll redirect. Mm-hmm. So Cannabis changes his verse.
Exactly.
LL doesn't change his verse. And at that point,
the story is LL had a different verse,
but he decided
he went back and changed it after he heard Cannabis' verse to the one that you hear now.
Yeah.
And then he never went back to the other verse.
Exactly.
And he told Cannabis, no one will ever know I'm talking to, what I'm talking about because your verse is gone. But apparently somebody leaked the original song. Mm-hmm. People put 2 and 2 together, and then you have second round knockout by Cannabis, and then Ripper Strikes Back by LL.
And Ripper Strikes Back was pretty hard too. Came on. I was gonna
say only one of them came out swinging. Only one of them survived.
Sampler. I don't know if you remember that.
I can put L over top of Lil Wayne.
Yes, I agree. Agreed. Sorry, Chris. Right.
You know what? We're gonna bring Louis on here. We'll have all of us here. We'll have that. That'll be
like, and this is only gonna be a short detour right here. But one of the things that I brought up when we were having that discussion earlier was we need to try to set this up the way that we would set it up, like if we were talking about the greatest in the NBA. Like it's got to be by eras, because like for me, I am like, you guys can talk about the old heads all you want, but for me it's fallen on deaf ears because I never really listened to them like that.
Yeah,
like
but you got to go back.
Yeah,
what's your era?
But even with that, like I know that like there's always also going to be that progression. Like there's so much nowadays, and obviously all the guys nowadays are built off of the dudes from back in the day.
Outside of Biggie and Pac and Jay and Nas, who was around your era? Who would be your what was the first rapper you liked, or around that?
That's tough. I mean, when I really think about when I was getting into hip hop, a lot of it was Ludacris, Outkast, Wayne, like the.
I even told the man at work today, I said, I'm putting Andre 3000 in my top 5 before I put Wayne in my top 5.
You did say that.
I have Andre 3000 has been in my top 5. My top 5 changes all the time.
Right.
When you say that, you gotta be talking about like lyrics, because
Andre
ain't got no album.
Right.
But that's how dope.
That's a
And I've always just said from the go that Mixtape Wayne's my favorite rapper of all time. So it's
so that was another argument I had. It's like Wayne's mixtapes, yes, his albums are good. I'm not discrediting anything by Wayne. I was just saying, for me, there's too many other artists that I can put in my top 5 before I put Wayne. I said Wayne might make, depending on how we're gonna classify this, might be in my top 10. depending on how we classify this. I even put, and I got clowned for this one too. I said I put Fabulous mixtape Fabulous because Fabulous albums are never as good as his mixtape. I put all the Fabulous mixtape against Wayne's mixtapes, and they're going to be kind of comparable, kind of the same thing. Because I thought Fab is a lyricist.
Mm-hmm. I wish Fab didn't go through all this stuff too, because he got to get canceled too.
Yeah, we talked about that too.
But Fab is nice,
canceling
though.
Fab for allegations that weren't proven.
Hey man,
And he out there at Coachella with the same with Shorty. So
Right.
but that's the
mean,
thing though. But
yo.
see, you know when that kind of thing is going on, it's not uncommon for the couple to stay together.
Yeah,
Right.
I ain't really
right.
with the accusations
go
with
for
no
that.
proof stuff, man. I can't rock.
The only thing I'm going off of is
They
the
did have that
video of
video.
him
Yeah,
talking
cussing
to the
out.
father. But that was the only thing.
That was just an argument.
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, that's the only thing I can go off. But I'm not.
That's a family argument.
I'm not writing off Fab. It's just I know it's
not a good
just
look.
to be caught up in that. It's not a
Right.
good look.
Right.
It's whack,
I ain't
man.
gonna get into it, but all I saw was a man arguing with his girl. I mean, I think
Right.
everybody probably did that before.
And
That's
the
all
dad-
I
I
saw.
mean,
And your
you're going
brother.
off the facts. I got you. That's
What about the Rockefeller locks beef?
oof, that one.
That was, to me, that's one of the best.
That
as
was
far
around-
as like being on wax. And
Was that around the same time? Was that Jay and Nas would beef around the same time too, though, right?
there was a little bit after, but yeah, it was during that
It
era.
all
It was
kind
during
of,
it.
it all came
It's around-
ran together.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the locks, who took? So how did that one come about? It was
I don't even know the background story. I just
it was
remember the songs
Beanie
was crazy.
Beanie and Jada were going at each other, right? Was that how it started?
It kind of started because they had Jay and them Rockefeller. They had their little roster start coming up to Hot 97,
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
doing the freestyles.
That's right.
You know, during the ether in them times,
Mm-hmm.
so they were kind of trying to get at everybody. So they some type of way they pulled the locks in, and then Beans and Jada start bumping heads.
Right.
That was again.
But
Jada.
them records though,
Jada.
like
Jada.
Kiss the Game Goodbye.
I feel like
But even
Jada's
all
not
that
a
stuff
rapper
was like if
wanna
you
go
didn't
against.
have the mixtapes back
Exactly.
then,
You
didn't
know-
hear 'em, yeah.
Remember
Them
mixtape
joints
era
was
where
crazy, though.
you can get. Well, that Piff is still there, but
Yeah.
it was all kind of exclusives on mixtapes.
back when Clue and them was hot.
So that's probably there. Let's go ahead and jump into Jay and Nas. That was probably one of the biggest, the biggest hip hop beefs in my era. Outside of Biggie and Pac, that was a whole new. That was more than beef. That was off of wax.
Right.
That and
Right.
obviously we know how that ended. But let's stick with Jay and Nas for now.
I like my participants staying alive.
Who
in
knows
that
the
version,
origin?
you
What's
know?
the origin of the beef?
So there's two origins.
Which one?
Apparently with Jay and
Jay and
Nas.
Nas.
One was Myth. Myth Bleak said he's
said he was
he's
gassing,
taking
right?
ownership that the beef started with him off his first album where he took a shot at Nas,
Right.
and then Nas took a shot back, and then Jay got into it.
Mm-hmm.
Carmen says the beef, Carmen is Nas's first baby mother. She says the beef started with her because she was messing with Jay, same time she was messing with Nas, and supposedly she said she got pregnant by Jay. Right?
Golly.
Yeah, it was messy. And so a lot of people who don't know is that your chick, Jay's verse Jay is talking about Carmen to Nas. Like how he dogged Carmen, like this the
Right.
chick you choose to be with. Like I done did all this and all that to her. This is your chick.
Right.
And yet Nas refused. Nas didn't even respond. Like I think Nas didn't really choose to get involved until he did
Stillmatic. I mean, not
Still-
Stillmatic, but what was was that called Stillmatic?
no, Nostradamus. Nostradamus was the
Nostradamus.
first time
Yeah,
it was he responded to Bleak.
Got it. Okay.
And then
I put the slug in your hat.
yep, exactly. And at that point, Jay, they still take subliminal shots. Nobody's calling nobody's name. It's just still like, oh, I know who you're talking about because that's a reference. Jay says the beef didn't actually start until he was out in L.A. Same time Nas was in L.A. and Nas was talking reckless over the radio, and he actually said Jay's name. Nobody else remembers this, but this is what Jay says sparked him to go ahead and do Takeover. And so obviously we know what happened from there. The Summer Jam.
Well, before that was the song that he just referenced, which was called
Stillmatic.
Stillmatic.
Yeah.
on
Stillmatic,
the Paid in
okay.
Full beat.
Right. Exactly.
Nas had did the Stillmatic freestyle over the page.
That's right. It was the Stillmatic.
H to the M-O, O
H
to
to
the,
that's right. That's
H to
right.
the Izzo, O to the
Homo
Homo.
versus
Yeah.
Cisco. So everything that he said, everything that everything that Jay said in what's the name of Jay's song? Takeover.
Takeover.
Everything he said in Takeover was reference to what Nas
Right,
had
that's
said
right,
in
that's right.
Stillmatic.
But so
But a lot of people didn't hear Stillmatic because it was a mixtape.
Exactly.
and when Takeover was written, Takeover was really only about Prodigy from Mobb Deep.
Exactly. They didn't even have a verse about Nas.
And then the only reference to Nas was ask Nas, he don't want to with Hov, and that was
and that was the end of the verse. That was the end of the verse, actually.
And then Nas
That was Stillmatic came.
Then that's when Nas did Stillmatic.
Got yourself a gun
and
all that.
And so then Jay, because that's right, Blueprint wasn't even out yet. And so everybody thought it was just a Summer Jam shot. And then when Blueprint came out, Takeover was actually a full song.
Right.
And
Right.
my God.
Then he does Got Yourself a Gun.
Ether came right after that.
Nah, man, sorry. When not Got Yourself a Gun, but Jay rhymes over Super Ugly, which has Got Yourself a Gun.
That was Jay.
That joint.
So Jay says, okay, let's go back real quick.
Well, Ether actually came out like months and months.
Before, yeah.
Nah, Ether came out like 3 months after Takeover. Because
Yeah.
Ether came out, he released Ether on Jay-Z's birthday.
In the fall.
Which is in December.
Right.
December 4th,
And he
right.
released supposedly K Slade. That's why
is in June.
Right. So that's why apparently so Blueprint dropped on September 11th.
Right.
The same day
2001.
Yeah, 2001. And then Ether came out in December.
That's 3 months.
To just sit back and just
That's why I was saying like that. When did this 48 hours?
when is it?
Like
I was
Ether
like,
came out
imagine
3
if
months
Twitter was
later.
like really a thing back then. You know,
Right.
like if that was in existence and all that.
because one of the little documentaries I was watching was they said Hov had after Takeover Hov had New York, right? They were all Hov, and then K Slade got hold of Ether first and dropped it, and then it was an underground drop, and next thing you know, it started bubbling, and the tide to turn back to Nas on the
Opening line. Fuck
I mean,
Jay-Z.
I don't even. I'm one of those like, I guess, Ether truthers. Like I don't like that song is not that crazy to me. Like I don't even. It's just not as good as either Takeover or.
I think that I don't know what there were so many elements to Ether.
Stillmatic was dope, but I don't like either.
Takeover was hard because that was like the first time you actually heard Jay put numbers in there, he put stats in there.
The beat
And
too.
then-
Kanye.
But I think Nas with Ether, Nas made it he took it to a whole nother level as far as he said, scared to smile, they called you ugly, compared to Beans, you whack. Eminem had the best verse on this track.
Eminem merged you on your own.
I
shit.
think the difference was with like I think Takeover was more of a Takeover was like a record.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ether was a diss song.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a diss track.
Yeah,
Exactly.
to
It
me,
was
that
more,
the
and
difference.
it was
It
definitely
was also very like where I can think Nas was kind of playing the dozens, you know what I'm saying, kind of joning on him. Whereas Jay was just like, I showed you your first tech on tour with Large Professor. Now I hear you talking about your tech on the dresser, like really giving like real life interactions. You know what I'm saying?
He's like, you're a stan, a phony, a fake. He's like, I still whip your ass. You 36 in a karate class. You Tabo.
Tabo ho. Like, it's jokes. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same to me. Like that's. It's also kind of like
Jay-Z was on MTV in the class.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Everything he said was like, I saw Jay boxing.
It's very
I
much
saw
so
it.
like if you look at this Drake Pusha T beef, like that Pusha T record is a lot like Takeover, whereas I think what Drake's song is a lot like
People remember
Ether
the
in that
sound
way,
bites, man.
You know?
Right.
We're living in this 10-second clip, whatever.
And as we're talking now, apparently Quentin
Quentin Miller dropped a diss.
dropped the diss track.
Yeah, so
Don't care. Man. Like,
Really? Y'all
can you drop an album?
Yeah, I want to hear it though.
yeah, definitely.
But so
gonna have
that's
to
the
listen to
thing.
that
So I'm
after-
not-
Going at Drake.
Yeah,
going at Drake and Nicki apparently.
but apparently,
What's he
so
gotta do with
Because Nicki came out and supported Drake, saying that
I wanna hear that
people
one
are just continuing to run the ghostwriting thing into the ground. People out here acting like Drake's not writing for himself and others out here. And so
that's the thing. Everybody writes for somebody
Right.
at some point in your life. You're gonna need help.
usually
To
it's
Drake's
collaborative.
to a defense, we know Drake has written, and a lot of his stuff he's written has been R&B stuff. So
Right.
that shows you what kind of lane he's in.
Yeah.
But everybody's favorite rapper done had somebody.
But what if Drake, so Drake came out with his diss song like less than 24 hours after Pusha's song came out. What if Drake's writing team wrote that song?
No, I
Which
mean,
one,
and
Duppy?
that's
Yeah.
what a lot of people are.
That's for sure.
the argument. If you're anti Drake, if you are just the ghostwriting thing is it, whatever. Even though he's giving production credits to everybody that is doing this stuff for him, and I don't want to say everybody. That's too overarching, but like we know that Drake probably had that song in his hands like on Tuesday or something.
Drake
Like,
got a hold of from sources are saying Tuesday. The album dropped Friday, and Drake put out Duppy Sunday. Or Saturday. So he definitely had time, and then he definitely had time
If it
to
wasn't
come up
Friday
with a
afternoon.
calculated song. Now this one with Pusha, you can tell whether, how fast you can tell it's kind of recent. It's
So what if it was to come out that somebody wrote his diss song for him?
Drake's this song?
Yeah.
I mean, that would end the beef.
And it wouldn't hurt Drake. At this point, Drake has nothing
Can
to
he win,
lose.
though,
Drake
with
has
that?
nothing to lose at this point.
Can you win a
so.
diss
That's
a beef with somebody else writing your songs? I can't do that.
That's like if you in a boxing match and then somebody bring out like Floyd and box for me.
To box
you
for
know?
me, right?
Like,
But then that's the thing. So
like when Tommy Hearns came in for the other team. Martin.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man.
and so if somebody else is writing a diss, these are these people's feelings about this person.
Right.
Well, not even their feelings. It could be his feelings, but you ain't writing.
He
You
coached
know?
him. Say something about this.
Say something right.
Exactly.
that's
Say
it.
it like this. Like,
Yeah.
that's
I
whack,
mean,
man. That's-
somebody had to tell Pusha about Drake's kid. So
but that's different than writing the lyric.
That's
you know
just
what I
fishing
mean?
for info.
I mean, yeah,
That's
but
no different
some-
than Google. You know,
we can't even Google that yet.
maybe I don't know.
The first time I'm hearing about Drake having a kid is
I'm not surprised he has a kid. I mean that wasn't eye opening for me.
Still
at all.
want to
I
see
kinda
those
figured he
receipts,
had
but
kids.
TMZ
There-
had
there
a
were-
whole story tomorrow.
yeah, right.
TMZ is on it now.
I mean, there's many joints that Drake has probably gone through. Like, I'm surprised he doesn't have like 10 kids.
Right.
Like,
I mean, my whole thing is that like for anyone that just wants to believe that it's just the team writing everything or whatever, then it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter whether he actually did write him or not, because perception's reality, and it goes both ways. So people are either going to believe that no, Drake can't do any wrong, he's writing his own stuff most of the time, blah blah blah, or Drake is a fraud and it's the OVO camp that's doing everything. It's not him. He's just the deliverer. Like,
I mean, I just think if you're just gonna be in a rap battle, you should be the one rapping. You know what I mean? Like
I
that's
feel you.
otherwise it's not a battle.
Maybe he did write Duppy. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe he did
Yeah.
write back to back for me. Maybe
Why is he naming it Duppy though? He's not even Jamaican.
Hey, like what if you found
Without
out Dave
another Ray
Chappelle
riding?
didn't write his jokes?
I'm not gonna be heartbroken.
over
Does
who?
it change your mind?
Over who?
That's a lot of comedians though.
I mean, because
But I'm
comedians
saying,
have
what
a
if
team.
Dave Chappelle didn't
Right.
write his own jokes?
Yeah, I'm not
I
gonna
mean,
be
does that
heartbroken.
change how you feel about him?
Because that's the man. Like, it didn't hurt me when you knew that Paul Mooney was writing for Richard Pryor. That didn't
Right.
change who Richard Pryor is.
Yeah, I'm saying like that's a lot of comedians though. Most comedians got a writing team though.
Kevin Hart's team,
I mean-
Plastic Cup Boys, they write for him.
Right.
They say they be stealing people's stuff though. He go to the comedy club and sit back in the back and steal jokes from the little lesser known.
Yeah.
I mean, to flip that kind of material that quick, you got to have a team. There's no way in the world with him doing all those movies, because like 5 movies a year. There's no way in the world you can come up with an hour and a half worth of material within that when your mind is focused on so many things. So you got to have a team, and like Sachi said, you got to probably taking it from local talent. Like, oh, that is funny. Kevin will be saying that tomorrow night. Thank you.
I'll cut you a check.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to hear you saying that joke again.
Right.
That's like that Monique Netflix thing.
Oh, sheesh.
Yeah, whatever. Let's not get in that. Whatever.
Talking about rat beef.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll leave. Everybody knows Biggie and Tupac. We'll leave that one off. I think that's all I had.
So y'all considering then? Are you considering? So what beef are you considering like the Grail beef in hip hop? Is that Nas and Jay?
Of my of my era, that'll probably be the.
Because after Biggie and Tupac, that was the first one.
That was personal. That became
really.
Was
I was gonna say,
really
do you consider that a rap beef though? Because it wasn't really that many records
between Biggie and Pac.
Yeah.
Not and it wasn't even based off of.
Biggie had what, 2 albums?
Biggie
anyway?
didn't respond, right? I mean, all he did was just
Biggie wrote "Who Shot
He says
You."
he doesn't. He said he didn't respond.
The "Who Shot You" is what ticked Pac off.
Yeah, he
but
said,
that wasn't about that. He never said anything about Pac.
Exact.
Pac the only thing it was in that Jay Biggie song.
Get it to Pac.
Exactly,
yeah. That was the.
But he didn't even
Brooklyn's
say anything
finest.
bad about it.
He's got what's beef. He's got somebody's got to die and all that.
Yeah.
They trying to say those weren't responses, but they were.
Now what was Pac? Pac had hit him up.
Pac really only had to hit him up because after that he was dead.
Yeah.
I mean, now he had I got a whole bunch of Tupac disses but they came out afterwards.
Right.
You know, they won like all those
that
Machiavelli
on
mixtapes.
Machiavelli, on the original Machiavelli, he went that like I don't even know if he had. I guess he kind of had lyrics. He had stuff about Nas and Puff in that one song. Against All Odds. Was that not Against All Odds?
Nigga named Nas.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But to me, I think that beef became hyped because of everybody around it, the media. Suge hyped it up. I'ma put Puff hyped it up. It became a whole one side of the world versus another side of the world.
Literally did that.
And these two guys got trampled in a money making scheme.
I mean, you hear
and also propelled the two of them to crazy levels.
Exactly.
Crazy, yeah.
We still talk about him.
They about to put out another movie about
Johnny
him.
Biggie only
Depp,
had
I
2
saw that.
albums.
Yeah,
and we still
that's what's
talk
crazy.
about him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a great MC. Like I can't even. To me, he's probably my favorite, if not my top 3.
Who was better? You got Biggie over Pac?
Yes.
What about you, Sachi?
Skills wise, yes, but I don't think that makes big. I think both of them got propelled to higher heights. Partly, I mean, because of the beef, but partly, like you said, because you had to ride with the East Coast or you had to ride with the West Coast. So everybody from the East Coast was Biggie. But you still had Nas. You still had who else you had back then? You still had other people in New York that was popping. Raekwon and Ghostface and the whole Wu-Tang and Redman and all these type of dudes. Like when they got on songs with Biggie, they weren't getting murdered on the tracks. But they weren't beefing, so they didn't have the whole coast had to be behind them. And same thing with Pac. Pac was the man or whatever, but Pac wasn't getting on no tracks with nobody and murdering them. You know what I'm saying?
Pac was the
man. We're on.
Pac gave you the conscious, the conscious tip. You know, he was giving you real life scenarios. It was real. He was giving you real. And Big was a lot of Big stuff was some drug related, obviously from the drug dealing. But I mean, he was giving you bars too. So they were two different types of style of rappers. And again, they just got caught up in a situation where the situation became bigger than what they were.
Right.
But
also, I think Ready to Die there wasn't a lot of drug references in that album. That was more like he was still ground level. You know what I'm saying?
What was the better album, Ready to Die or Life After Death?
Ready to Die, just because of the length for me.
Same for you?
You mean because it's shorter?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anyone that listens to our podcast knows
me, Double Album
that
just flawed.
Superfly feels a certain way about how long an album is.
Yeah.
Like he did. You don't be giving him 20 tracks and
the long albums. You're not there. I can feel you on that.
But that depends.
You
You can have a long, great album.
Oh, I mean, Life After Death would be vicious if you cut 10 songs.
I'm gonna tell you what. Blueprint 2 was too long, and that took away the 6 songs that probably were decent on that album.
Trash.
Exactly.
For me, I mean, I love Ready to Die. I think I like the body of work on Life After Death, just because I just like the body, and it was. I think I can listen to track 1 through whatever the last track is straight through without skipping.
I think Life After Death is the second one, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit more advanced.
It is. I do. I mean, I agree with you. I just think it's too long, so I had to give it.
Yeah,
I had to get the first one.
I got you.
But they had to do that because Tupac had done the double CD.
Yeah. Plus Biggie was gone, so it was just like we just gotta put out as much material.
Well, no, that was the plan. Was to do the double CD because you know when Pac came out of jail and then All Eyes on Me.
All
was the
Eyes on
double
Me,
CD.
that was-
So then they had to compete with Pac and do the double
Right.
CD. But then you know Wu-Tang had the double CD at the same time. Even if you go if you can go a little bit more underground, like 8 Ball and them had a triple CD at that
Yeah.
same time. I can't think of the name of that, but I actually like that CD.
That was a big thing for a little while.
Yeah, and
Imagine
then
though,
Master P and them were doing double
multi-disc
Can
and
you
all that
imagine
craziness.
though if All Eyes on Me was one album? If you just took the top
I don't even
10.
listen to that second CD.
The second
The
CD.
second CD dope. It's got a couple joints on there. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that second CD is more like something to ride to.
Right.
The first joint has all the singles on it.
Even Scarface did so double
Yeah.
CD around
My
the same
homies.
time. Yeah.
You probably
That's a
actually
classic.
touched on this, Superfly, but what did you think of Crit's album then?
Creep was double album.
Because
Yeah.
Which
the
album?
most recent one that he did.
Didn't even listen to that, Joe. Sorry. I have no idea.
It was on the list for top. It was a
Yeah.
good album.
Never listened to it.
I was Bones.
definitely one of my
Art of
top
War
five
was a
from
double
last
disc. I could.
All around that 96,
It
97,
was like
98.
let's just
It was
put
a
out
big thing.
a gang of music that
Right.
could either make a.
It makes sense to me now. It makes sense to put out as much content as possible because you can
People
Unless you're
monetize all
unless you're
those
Chris
streams.
Brown who
Yeah.
puts out a
Nah, but it makes
60
sense.
track album.
Because you can stream, you can get credit for all the streaming, all that stuff. So whatever you make, you might as well just put it out now.
Did that Chris Brown album make any noise though? Like did these
I don't know, it
attention
was-
deficit people sit down and listen to 60 songs or whatever it was?
They may the girls probably did.
Because I didn't hear anything about it.
I just
Yeah.
I don't even can't even tell you what the lead single for that was.
Was there one?
Exactly.
Like Grass is Green, I think was probably the only song I remember off of that. Not,
Never even
whatever.
heard
Yeah,
that.
who,
No.
yeah,
And I'm
What
a
about
DJ,
R and
terrible.
beef?
Which one?
I'm saying like the
Oh,
R&B
beefing.
cats
Who
were
was-
beefing.
Who was beefing?
There are R. Kelly beefing with like all these girls' parents or something.
Right.
R. Kelly beef with what's dude's name?
But he had a legit beef though, didn't
Trey
he?
Songz. He beefed with Trey Songz.
I mean,
So funny.
if you ever
Beef with
listen to the
Jay.
Ricky Smiley show, Ricky Smiley, they do a song when R&B cats start beefing, and it's like it's like an old Wham slow song. They just do like a song over top of like when R&B cats start to beefing, punches start getting thrown and scratches and all. It's crazy. R&B, I don't even follow R&B beat.
Yeah.
Prince and Michael Jackson.
This song.
R. Kelly and what's his name? Trey Songz made beef this song back together, but you know Trey Songz just a fake R. Kelly anyway. That's what
Right,
R.
they
Kelly
all
was saying.
evolved.
Aren't
They
they?
all
You
evolved
my
from
son.
something anyway.
But did y'all one beef that y'all didn't talk about, which is like the original hip hop beef, which was Busy B and Moe Dee.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I forgot about the.
Yep.
That was the first. That was over before LL.
Yeah, it's like 80, 81,
That was the first. Okay.
79 or something like
Okay,
that.
okay, that's why. Okay, that's.
You can listen to it. That's like world famous beef. You can listen to it on YouTube.
How did that one start? Territory.
What you call it? Busy B was the man in the clubs doing his little bar diddy bar.
Right, ball with the ball jump.
You know those kind of little raps, and Kool Moe Dee came up there and hit him with the sneak attack.
Get that ball with the ball bullshit.
Yeah,
out.
it was some real raps and was like, yeah, to get that bullshit out of here. That was that. But I heard what you call it on the podcast not that long ago. He was like, y'all hear that one tape where they say he got out on me, but y'all ain't hear the other when I came back the next day and killed him. So I'm trying to find that myself.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what he said.
It's buried somewhere. All right.
It's on there somewhere.
Gotta
but
hope the internet's got it somewhere.
He say he's still getting paid off bar diddy, off the bar diddy ball.
Hey.
With the
kidding?
Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Oh yeah, hell, definitely. That's Kid Rock, one of his biggest hits.
Yeah.
He said he got a nice check.
Hey.
All right, let's do for the soul. We can finally
do
bring
that.
segment
Yeah,
back
it's
tonight.
not raining.
All right, and it's a couple of us that I got on some decent kicks. So we'll go. Superfly has on his dad's Air Dads.
Air Dad 3.
Right.
His
The Air Dad
cookouts.
3s.
Air
Air Dad
joints.
cookouts.
Exactly.
CB, what you rocking tonight?
I got the Adidas Speed Factory made for London joints.
Okay.
So these
Dope. We're gonna take a picture of these and put them up.
These joints are the boost on here is super comfy.
Got you, Sachi. What you rocking?
It's got some turtle doves on.
I was gonna say I don't know the name. I forgot.
He's got some Yeezy 350s on there.
That's what they call.
Dope. Thank you guys for bringing the For the Soul back, because I definitely ain't. I got on my Nike free runners that I travel with when I'm walking or taking the train.
I mean,
Whatever.
we finally, and I think it's supposed to rain the next couple of days too. So
So you had to break them out, yeah.
I mean, because we had some bad luck the last couple recording days for the Soul, but I did want to put this out there before we close up shop. We don't need to let this Drake and Pusha beef distract us from the fact that the hottest song that dropped this past weekend was from ASAP and Skepta. That was the best track that got dropped this past weekend.
pretty
Praise the
dope.
Lord.
Pretty
Praise the
dope
Lord.
track. Pretty dope track, yeah.
That shit is dope. So
over
I'm
that.
gonna listen to that on the ride home.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that Black Thought Ninth Wonder joint that's coming out Friday.
Whew, that's this Friday?
Yeah.
Man,
That's a mixtape though, isn't it? Or is it
I
out?
don't know. I think it's an album.
I know they've been working on it for a minute.
Streams of Thought Volume 1. I never even know they were working on that joint.
Yeah.
I ain't-
That's gonna be
Looking
dope.
forward to it.
All right.
I'm looking forward to hearing the Kanye myself.
Oh, definitely.
If it's coming
If it
out.
comes out this
Right,
Friday, it's
right,
been kind of
right.
quiet.
Who knows?
And then Nas soon too. I wonder if Nas gonna do 7 tracks.
I'm guessing he is, which
what
I'm
they-
really hoping that's not the case.
I
That's
said everybody doing 7.
We'll see. Sachi, real quick, give us your social media where everybody can follow you at.
My Sachi, my social media. What is my social media? Instagram is Sachi Tight, SACETYTE, or Instagram is Hip Life, HYPLYFE, and I think my Twitter is the same. As both of those are the same, SACETYTE and HYPLYFE.
Let's
All
go.
right, we're gonna real quick. I forgot to. You worked for BET, right? Back in the day.
Yeah.
Give us a quick rundown what you did there.
Oh wow. A little bit of everything. You know, back when I started at BT, we were still here in DC. Weren't owned by Viacom yet. We pretty much did everything in house back then, so we were kind of like a one-stop shop for everything. So, and at that time, if you were a black music artist, you only had one place to get your look. So you had to come here and, so I did everything from writing, promo writing, producing, editing, shooting, I was, creative services. And then, they moved us up to New York, and they moved, the first move they made was in 01. They moved my department in 02, which was the creative services department. So I moved up to New York in 02. And, we rocked from there, writing promos, editing promos. And then I left the promo department and started working on shows. So, I did Rap City, 106, and whatever you saw come on TV.
There you go.
That's dope.
So when you hear Sachi talk tonight about music, he's got credentials.
Right.
He knows his stuff.
I got a lot of stories now. I could tell some
So
stories.
you gonna interview him, or am I gonna interview him?
You want okay, so go ahead and go ahead and give a shout out
Got
for
a
your
plug.
joint, Superfly.
So Superfly Friends, at Superfly Friends on all streaming platforms and on all social media. My personal social media, Superfly_TNT. So that's what
Auxiliary,
Yep, the aux, DTHE-AUX.com.
which is we're getting there. We ordered our sign, by the way.
we
Our sign will be
got a
ready
banner on the way.
this week. We are something else. WERSUMTHINELSE. That's on Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Google Play, iTunes. Name it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's us. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Peace.
All right.
Peace.
We are something else.
Do 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 do.
Boom, 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 boom.
Do 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 do.
Boom, boom, boom.
Do 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 do.
Better to be safe than to be sorry before you raw dog at the party. So bring some protection before you get a little infection. That way you both can win when you wear your rough skin.
Yeah.